Hi YouTube, we're back again with a build video. This time we're actually going to build it for the Cirrus SR22T 1.5 meter with Safe Select, made by E-flite under Horizon Hobby there. Okay, so we started by taking off the nose. Super easy process to do that. Just don't forget there's two little plastic clips here, so it has to kind of come out forward. Magnets for the other attachment points here. And then 4 attachment points. We already replaced XT60 for our battery, for our LiPo, and then we've got the radio programmed. So everything should be set for that, and servos centered so far. So let's just look at our list of instructions here. Should be pretty straightforward process to build this plane. It's a very low piece count. I've just slid these couple of pieces. There's 3 pieces, the fuse, the prop. I mean, it's crazy how few the pieces are, to be honest. So I pretty much know how to do this without looking at the manual, but I'm going to go ahead and look at the manual. This little piece was in the box. I'm not even sure if it's broken, but I'm going to hang on to it just in case. Also, we had to fix this earlier. We did that when we were fixing our XT60, and then we added a little piece of tape here to help pull that off. Okay, so we got an inner bag inside of the other bag, so we'll just lay that stuff on top of there. And it looks like we got some antennas. That's cool. That's cool. I can't see that this broke off of any of them though. I don't know. I'll figure that out at some point. Got some screws here. Looks like those screws might be for those. Got some bigger screws. They're machine screws. They're not labeled. Sometimes they're labeled. Okay, this is another antenna. Oh, that's a step. Awesome. That's going to come off the side, I think. And then there's this fancy dance, which is going to be for the landing gear, nose gear. So we're going to go ahead and start by reading the directions. Okay. Obviously, you have to take the nose off so you can get the little adapter in there. See, the screw is going to be pointed to the back of the plane. Nose gear is going to slide up from the bottom. Let's actually read it. Blah, 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 blah. Insert here. Get tighten the 3 by 8 millimeter screw. Install a cowl. Okay, pretty simple on that. Seems like it might make better sense to put the mains on first, but I don't know. I'm sure somebody thought about that for a minute. I hope. Oh yeah, that's, boy, that thing is smooth. Hope it doesn't break when we land. Have a bad landing, you know. Okay, so remember the screw is supposed to go back, and then there's a linkage for the control rod that attaches to the servo. So I'm just going to slip this onto the, probably the outside most. I might actually look back at the manual for a second just to see where that's supposed to be. And then we'll go from there. All right, I had to pause the video there for a second. Sorry, guys. Okay, so there's also a key point on this that's going to be receiving that screw. So my hope is that it will be aligned closely anyway. Got a couple of different Phillips screws here, screwdrivers. I'm going to just go with this one. We'll see if that does the trick. Just kind of holding the screw where I think it should be, which should be about a 90 degrees angle. I want to make sure we keep those wires from getting at a pinch point there. See how close those things are. Because that could get up into a pretty nasty spot actually. And then this antenna, I'm just going to drop it down in there. I want to keep that away from the leads on the ESC if I can. Might even figure out a spot to tuck this and switch the antenna up over the top, but for now, why don't we just stick it in the side there. Dual diversity is a diversity antenna, so it should be fine. Okay, I'm actually going to go back to the smaller screwdriver here. A little bit awkward, but it's not near as bad as I thought it was going to be. Okay, I got it really tight now. Okay, and you can see the servo, I bumped it, and so it's kind of tucked over. And you can look at where the rudder is to kind of gauge whether or not you got it in the right spot. Okay, so now this is super tipsy now. That's why I thought maybe the mains would go on first. Okay, then they're suggesting that the mains go on there. Ha! Duh. You are supposed to evidently put install the mains. Yeah, that's why we read directions. And by read, I mean look at the picture and hope you looked at the right one. Dirt, that's not right. Okay, so that's going to slip in there. Oh, that's gorgeous fit. Really, truly gorgeous fit, guys. I'm really impressed with the way this thing's going together. It's so easy. Okay, so I can't imagine that we even need to consider those screws. So it looks like these are all about the same, which makes sense because you're going to have 4 for the wings and 4 for the landing gear. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, sweet. Lay these aside. Don't need those yet. Okay, Phillips. Looks like we could use a number 2 screwdriver. Just going to grab the one landing gear. So in case you're noticing, obviously the better option would be to go ahead and put the mains on first. That was a screw up on my part. Sorry, guys. Okay, so we're just going to get that tightened in most of the way. Then we're going to do the other side, and then we'll torque them down all at once when we're kind of all said and done. That way they don't flop out on us. We're trying to do this. A little bit awkward. These things are always, there's always a couple of steps. It doesn't matter. I think every single plane I've put together, there's been some awkward steps. And this plane, to be honest, you could take it apart pretty easy if you needed to transport it. But the thing is, I probably won't. I can fit my timber in the car, but that's a high wing plane, so I'm not sure how this is gonna work out. Here's a little bit of a gap here. I'm trying to close that gap on the landing gear there between the fuse and the landing gear bracket. Nice and tight now. Just throw that in there. So you guys, the builds on these things, they always say it's going to be like 10 minutes, and then it always takes like 3 hours for me to do it because I notice little things that I don't want to come back and try to do after it's all assembled. Or I just make a bunch of stupid mistakes because I'm trying not to read the directions. But in this case, I would say that it's actually going to be a really quick install because I'm most of the way done already. So let's go ahead and flip it over. Alright guys, so we got the mains on. And okay, what's next here? It looks like on the landing gear. Oh shoot, that's right. I was going to double check the landing gear hole position. Might as well check that now before I get too much further. Huh, doesn't say. Yeah, you know it does. I've already seen it, I just didn't pay attention close. Sorry guys, I thought I'd figured that out already. Evidently it doesn't show. It shows like this, but it doesn't show for that one. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, normally I want a lot of throw on that, but the thing is when you're going to take off, you don't want to have to put it in low rates and then mess around with it a bunch. And I plan to eventually move this all the way in. I like rudder control. As should anybody who flies an airplane, but that's a matter of opinion, I guess. So this little wire here for the ESC, I was just going to tuck this down. I might spend some time getting that stuff straightened up off camera because you don't need to see me doing that. It's not very exciting. Okay, so they're talking about going and putting in the horizontal stabilizer now, which makes sense. There is an up, there is a down. You can tell by the direction of the control arm. So I'm going to go ahead and hold this. This slides, I always slide these in first because I always try to forget. Okay, so they're saying to go to the innermost hole, which is interesting. Usually the manufacturers don't want you to go to the innermost hole. They want you to go to the outermost hole in a vain attempt to help their planes survive another day. That's a hilarious joke, people. Okay, so now we have to somehow teeter this plane up so we can get the control arm if you've never used these things, they're pretty easy. They snap up like this, and then you're allowed to take that off. And then you can stick that through. The control can go through, and then you slip it over like this, and you just slide it back, and you bite it onto itself. Just like that, which works really nice. But no adjustability at this end. You can adjust it at the front. The problem is it's really going to be a pain in the neck to get to the front because it's, well, I shouldn't say it's going to be a pain in the neck. It'll be more of a pain in the neck than if they had a ball joint on the end, but it's going to be less of a pain in the neck than not having adjustability because they did leave an access for us to open up if we need to. Okay, so we're going to slip this through. Okay, now this is a part where you want to be kind of careful. Just guide them gently. Oh, that went better than probably any of my Horizon Hobby horizontal stabilizers I've ever done. That was smooth. It was predictable. It was exactly what I expected for pressure. Normally you're kind of like forcing and you're bending things and, you know, lots of bad language, these sort of things. Okay. So they're saying the 10 millimeter 2 by 10 millimeter self-tapping button screws should be the, I think it's these longer ones. And then these small ones have got to be, because there's only 2 of those. Okay, so we're going to probably grab a blanket so we can lay this upside down while we do this part. And just a soft blanket, preferably not with like a lot of stitching and things on it that can puncture the foam. See the ESC? It's just so weird to have an ESC flopping around like that. From Horizon, no less. Okay, smaller Phillips here. That side's going to be tricky with that thing in the way. Kind of weird. It's like there's probably a hole in there, but I can't see it. So I think I'm actually penetrating plastic right now. So there's not really even technically a pilot hole on this, which is a little bit strange, I thought. Which is why you need the ones that are pointy. Yeah, you definitely go from this side, from the bottom. I can feel the tip with my middle finger that's on the back side of the wing, horizontal stabilizer there. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't going to come through all the way. That would not be cool. Oh, that son of a gun. I knew that was bound to happen at some point. Let's try it this way. Okay, got it. That was awkward. Way more awkward than what I figured it would be. Remember, try to guide these in straight as you can because you're cutting the plastic with the screw. You don't want to put it in cattywampus because then the head won't make good purchase when it gets down and you'll end up bending up your plastic. Guys, this thing's almost built. This is so awesome. I wonder what the next step is. Just kidding, guys. Okay, so now they're saying do all the stuff we did in the first video. Nose gear centering, factory settings for the nose gears. Trims should be close. Observe the following. Prop installation. Okay, so prop installation's next. We're going to take a screwdriver. We're going to undo the spinner, which is just loosely attached. Once the spinner comes off, we should be able to see the collet, which is going to bite the prop shaft and hold onto the prop so that we transfer the spinning effect. So we're going to tighten this and it's going to squish this on. So we can go ahead and slide this back. You need to loosen it actually. That's weird. Oh, hey, we can see the size now. This is an 11.73. That's pretty cool. Oh, 11.73 bladed prop. So not 7 inches, 3/10 of an inch or something weird like that. I love it. What a nice fit. Guys, there's a reason Horizon Hobby models cost a little bit more than the competitors, and that's because they tend to be better. Okay, here we go, guys. Very nice machining. I mean, it's almost unbelievable that these planes come from probably the same factories as the Hobby King stuff, but yet they're so much better in so many ways. Okay, so that's tight, like a toiga. Screw is still in the nose cone. Gonna reach down and grab it with the tip of the screwdriver so it doesn't try to fall off. Then I'm just gonna start walking it in. What a beautiful spinner, guys. It's very pointy, which is a little bit strange, actually. Oh, yes, gorgeous. Look at the tip, just totally sits still. Love it. Okay, now they're suggesting that there's adjustments down here. I'm not sure why they're showing it at that particular time in the instructions. I'm sure they have their reasons. But yeah, that's evidently how you get in there to adjust your that's your rudder. Where's the elevator? Okay, there. Or that's your rudder. Rudder. See? Just a little clevis biting bushing thingy. And then you can slide to adjust left and right trim, rudder, and of course nose gear. All right, cool. So it looks like the wings are the last thing. So the wings, as suspected, we're going to use the rest of those. So this is a super complicated thing here. What we're going to do is we're going to take the carbon fiber rod. We already got it stuck into the one wing. We're going to slide it through. I just can't believe how easy this is going together. Okay. Make sure the keys line up. Ensure that your plugs all plug. Ooh. It's a nice idea, but it's kind of scary because it's a foam wing. You can't really, push with all you got because you can easily squish it. I'm going to try to pull down the flap, see if I can get a better bite. Nope, can't really do that either. Dang it. This is the first step I'm not real thrilled with. Yeah, see guys, I got a gap there still. Not real crazy about this step, guys. I mean, the wing is on. There's no doubt about it. I could get the screws to tighten. In fact, let's tighten them. Let's put them on. Stupid ESC fell out again. What the heck? Okay. So we're just gonna slip that in there. Number 2 Phillips screwdriver. Possibly gonna get that going. I think I'm gonna fight the other side first, because my landing gear on this side was protruding out a little bit more too. I wonder if that's fighting me a little bit. See, it's not wanting to start. There it goes. I think it's going. Nope, it's not going. Well, we're going to lay this down and hope... Oh, the screw didn't fall out yet. We'll find out when it does. Okay, guys, so the second side. Look at this. They did that. I didn't do that. That's pretty awesome. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and slide this through. Make sure those servo plugs line up. See, that wing went in without even hesitation. So, makes me a little bit nervous about this other wing. Of course, I'll give it some attention here in a minute, but for the moment, it still makes me a little bit nervous. Okay, so the big screws. Get it in there. It's a little bit of a disappointment to me that you've got all this awesome, design work, toolless installation, except that it's not toolless, because now you still need a Phillips screwdriver to tighten that. Oh, it looks like my wing is actually inserted a little bit too far on this side, as indicated by the fact that the hole's not lined up. That's very weird. Oh no, I need to push it in more. Good. Okay, so I need to actually take the wing and push it in like that, which is going to be awkward without a second set of hands. So I'm going to take and push this so that it's up against the whole leading edge is pushing. That way I don't get a bite mark in the foam. You see how I've spread the pressure all the way down the length of the wing? Okay, very good. I'm going to try that on this other side, see if we can get it to give a little bit better alignment. But we got to get one of the two sides in there before we can try to pivot it like that. Oh, I hate that I have to squish this. I wonder if my landing gear is not, the holes aren't exactly perfect. Or maybe this isn't exactly perfect, or something's not quite right there. Yep, there it goes. I knew that was going to happen. I just didn't know when. Well, let's see if we can get this back one in at least. We know that we had to kind of apply pressure, so I'm just going to push it on the counter there. Same scenario, just kind of trying to spread out the physical load on the foam. That's definitely in there now. Okay. So now I just got to figure out how the heck I'm going to torque this. I think we stick the spinner in your belly button. Kind of helps to hold the plane while you grab out at the wingtip. You can lever it in. There's nothing I like more than having to manhandle my wings in. Oh, it's in, guys. It's in, it's in, it's in. Yes. Okay. Sweet. The antennas, we're going to look at those here in a minute. But for now, let's go ahead and figure out what the heck is going on with the battery. Then we can give a quick once-over on the rudder stuff. A couple of little loose ends I might play with tonight, but for now, let's get the throttle cuts on. First time I hook it up with the prop on. Of course, you know, that's really dangerous. Well, only if you don't do any preparations whatsoever and you're mentally challenged, but here we go. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, so we're good so far. Letting the safe initiate. Okay, I need to reverse my flaps servo. Okay, so there's our flaps. Ailerons, so just looking. It's going to roll this wing down, this wing over. Elevator, elevator, rudder, rudder. Awesome, guys. Flaps. Oh, that's gorgeous. Oh, yes. Okay, now watch this little trick, guys. Okay, so servo setup. Go over to travel, go to your flaps. Listen. Oh, yeah, that's even better. And then collapsing them. It's perfectly aligned, guys. That's perfectly aligned. We don't need to mess with the up at all. But you see what I did is I made the down 150. Yes. Take off. Man, that's a gorgeous action. And look at the lights, guys. Look at the lights. That is gorgeous. Okay, so throttle cuts on. Real quick, let's get these things back on so you can see the awesome canopy light in here. Okay, now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I just thought of something. I wonder if this is even going to go in with the prop on. I think I'm going to make it go in. Yeah, it's going to go. It's just going to be awkward. It's awkward all the time, actually. This little piece, as smooth as you think it should work, it doesn't really work that smooth, but it definitely does give you the ability. You know what I'm probably going to have to do? I'll just pull off the spinner. It's not that big a deal. Let's put the canopy on, though. Okay, so it says to put it back on. I just skipped over it, being lazy. I'm going to just loosen this some and see if that's enough to get the job done. Because all I got to do is just drop the pointy things down in so that they fall into their position respectively. Yeah, got it there. Got it there. Okay, sweet. So now I can tighten this nose cone. Okay, so that's back on, guys. So now we look inside. Oh, look at that. That is so cool, guys. Oh, that is so cool. So now we look outside to see if it's raining still. And we go outside. So let's do that right now. I'm going to pause it for a second. We'll do that. All right, guys. It is currently not raining. So I'm just going to throttle cuts off. Give you guys a little taxi action. Put those flaps down, baby. Oh yeah, that is gorgeous, guys. Look at the lights shining up on the garage door. I love the cabin light. That's so cool. We may have to change that out for a different color though. Maybe put some stuff in the back. It's a little tempting to go fly right this second, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. Okay, so real quick, throttle cuts back on. Let's test safe. So currently, AS3X is working. Now safe is working. Okay, it's trying to level the plane. Look at the elevator. It's trying to level the plane. So basically, it's gonna try to level the plane, and then you're just gonna have AS3X. AS3X is they're gonna move when you move the ailerons, but then they're gonna go right back. That is gorgeous. All right, we're gonna pause it. We'll go back inside. Okay, guys, so in closing, looks good. Seems like it's gonna run really good. And how gorgeous is that thing? Thanks for watching. Hopefully get a flight video for you tomorrow, weather permitting. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys.